Shalom, shalom, everybody. Welcome back to another Pulse of Israel, Israel at War update. This is Avi Abelo, and I am back in the beautiful, ancestral 12 tribes walking. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 tribes, the prophets, all through here, the Judean hills. And I am home. I'm so happy to be home. All right, here we go. This is what's going on. To the war. Israel, the IDF, are continuing to bomb areas in Gaza, to bomb Hamas, to get rid of the terror tunnels, get rid of the terror infrastructure, get rid of the terrorists. They are throwing leaflets down from helicopters and planes to all the Gazans to leave. Now, you know, because I know you follow me, that Hamas is not just an organization. It's not just militant fighters. It's an ideology. It's a culture. It's about hating us and wanting to kill us. They celebrated when we were murdered and raped and burned. They were Gaza civilians who went into and took part in the massacre on October 7th. An old guy on crutches, kids on their bikes. You see all the videos of when the Israeli captives were released in Gaza. You see the hundreds and thousands of Gazans there celebrating and like trying to lynch our captives before they were given over to the Red Cross that did nothing for our Israeli captives while they were in captivity and still in captivity. It's a culture. They hate us. They want to kill us. They want to murder us. Now, Israel's giving them a chance. If you want to save your lives, and these are what the leaflets are saying, get out of the area. We're bombing this area. Get out of the area. Save your lives. If they don't leave and they stay, then they take their lives into their own hands. Because again, there are videos of Gaza children laughing at Israelis. And I've spoken about this before. Oh, Israelis run to bomb shelters. But we run to protect our fighters when Israel shoots bombs. That's part of their culture. They're okay with dying. They're okay with being killed, with their children being killed. They're okay because then it makes them look good in the world. Look how evil the Jews are because our innocents are being... They're not innocent. They're not innocent. They want to be killed in order to make us look bad. And we try to save them. So this is what's going on. And there's some ground forces going in. I think we're still focused on the air right now before sending in ground forces because it's much more dangerous to send the ground forces. We're really trying to send them in only after as much of the buildings are destroyed, so it's safer for us to go in because we have to get rid of the tunnels. We have to get rid of the Hamas fighters underground. Anyway, this is what's happening now. But ready for this? This is like the God program taking place. Because right now the focus is on southern Gaza. Okay? When the focus was on northern Gaza, they said all Gazans go south. Okay? Now the Gazans are south. Now we're getting them in Khan Yunis, which is the major city down south. We're telling everyone in Khan Yunis, go further south, go to Rafiah. Rafiah is the southernmost city in Gaza on the border with Egypt. What's going on? There's a pressure cooker on the Egyptian border, everybody. A pressure cooker. Now, the Egyptian foreign minister said a few weeks ago, and I spoke about this, they will not take in one Gaza refugee because that would end the Palestinian issue. You see that? The Egyptians don't even care about the Arabs. You know, if anyone cared about them, let them go. Let them leave. Let them have a better life somewhere else in the world and get them out of the disgusting hellhole that Hamas created in Gaza. Let them leave. You don't want to keep them in Egypt? Let them go to Jordan. Let them go to Iraq. Let them go to Syria. Let them go to Lebanon. Let them go to Iran. Any of the whole Arab world. They're supposed to care about their Arab brethren, right? Wrong. They don't care about their Arab brethren. And Egypt is keeping them locked up in Gaza, not allowing even one to escape. But the pressure cooker is building. They are all there. They have to run away as we, Israel, the IDF, are going south. They're having to run away further south on that Egyptian-Gaza border. Now, is anything going to happen? No clue if anything's going to happen. But I like to believe that the day's going to come that they're going to run out into Egypt. Wherever they end up going, let them have good lives anywhere else. Just not in our Jewish homeland, including Gaza, posing a threat to us Jews just wanting to live in peace in our ancestral homeland. So all this pressure down on the Egyptian border, something's going to give. Maybe not. Maybe nothing's going to give, but it's definitely a sign that potentially something will give. That's their only escape route to get a better life somewhere else. All right, so that's number one. Number two, I don't know if you've heard the news, definitely been here in Israel. Well, as we have destroyed the buildings and infrastructure that Hamas has used to protect their fighters, well, Israeli soldiers have written graffiti on some of the buildings and houses in Gaza. We've returned, the IDF are back, returning to Gush Katif, right? All different graffiti on buildings. Well, the leadership of the IDF, all right, this is the same leadership that for 30 years has allowed the Hamas to build up, not taken the Hamas threat seriously, had all the intelligence that Hamas was going to attack and ignored it, right? The same failed leadership. Well, guess what? They gave an order that the soldiers in Gaza have to spend their time endangering their lives to erase the graffiti, because that doesn't go along with the code of ethics of the IDF. This is a code of ethics that was written by a man named Professor Asa Kasher, if I'm not mistaken is his name, who was so against this government, and he said that the judicial reform made this government a bigger enemy than Hamas. Right? That's the guy who wrote the code of ethics. Right? He said this before the war started. That's the guy who wrote the code of ethics. So now, according to the army leadership, or certain top officials in the army leadership, the graffiti on these buildings, which is a pride, the Jewish people of our soldiers, they're back, giving positive messages, and there are some messages saying Oslo is what, meaning the horrible Oslo was step one, then came the horrible disengagement, really expulsion in 2005, step two, which then led to this attack. That's another famous graffiti going around, right? It's because of the weakness of the Israeli army and establishment and leadership that brought about this thing. Right? So all different graffitis. So the heads of the army, they're embarrassed by all these graffitis, and they're saying it's not according to the code of ethics. So they gave an order our soldiers who are in Gaza, any place you're in danger, because Hamas terrorists can come out of tunnels anywhere. Who knows if we're getting rid of all the tunnels, right? Instead of being there to fight and protect themselves, they have to waste their time erasing graffiti on buildings. So thank God, I keep on telling you this, we're winning this war not because of our leadership of the army and intelligence, but despite them. And we're winning this war because the soldiers on the ground and the officers on the ground. And the soldiers and officers on the ground basically said, over my dead body, we're not wasting our time and endangering our lives erasing graffiti. That's not the code of ethics. The code of ethics for a Jewish army to stop our evil enemies from killing us is to scare our evil enemies, never to think in their head to ever raise a pinky against any Jew ever in their lives. Not to show weakness. Erasing graffiti shows weakness. The graffiti shows we're back. We're home. It's not curse words. We're showing the Jewish people are back. Instilling a pride. The army is back. We're back to take care and provide security for all of Israel and all peaceful, loving Arabs who want to live in peace with us by controlling Gaza, which has proven that their barbarism is the problem, that their culture of teaching children, of UNRWA-financed U.S. taxpayer money, European taxpayer money of UNRWA, teaching children to kill Jews and murder Jews and celebrate the murder and rape and burning of Jews, that has to end. That's what the graffiti messages are about. And it's unbelievable, and I'm so proud to know that the units on the ground there are disobeying the high command to waste their time and endanger their lives to erase the graffiti. So just understand, this is what we're dealing with. We're not just dealing with our actual enemy, but we're dealing with a weak link of leadership who pose problems and stop us from beating our enemies. All right? So just understand that. And apropos weak leadership, what's going on today? Well, there's a new narrative in the leftist media, and that some politicians on the left are using. And the only leader of a leftist party that I've heard so far use this has been Merav Michaeli of the Labour Party, who's made herself irrelevant, and she should go down in history as an irrelevant politician, and etc. What lies are they spewing now? They're spewing the lies. Not that the army commanders and the intelligence failed for years in misunderstanding our enemies and not preparing us and weakening us, literally weakening us in every single way. And that's for another issue, and I've made other videos about that. But now they're blaming the settlers. They're saying it's because of the settlers in Judea and Samaria that the massacre happened. How are they blaming the settlers? They're saying that because a right-wing politician set up a tent outside of an Arab, or inside an Arab village of Hawara after terror attacks where Jews were being murdered as they were traveling the road. It's an access road that goes through this Arab village of Hawara. So, and the army wasn't doing what was necessary to protect the Jews traveling the road. They have to travel this road to get home. I've traveled the road before myself. So this Israeli politician, Tzvi Sukkot, set up his office there because he has to be protected. Right? So they're saying that battalions of soldiers were moved from the Gaza border to Judea and Samaria in order to protect him and protect settlers. So they're blaming the settlers for the massacre. That's the media narrative they're trying to spin. Ben Caspit, one of the senior journalists in Israel today, just tweeted it this morning. Mirav Michaeli has been talking about it. Guess what? The army itself has called that out as BS, that they didn't move any battalions to Judea and Samaria from the Gaza border. They were all still there on the Gaza border. But that's not stopping this dangerous, divisive, hateful narrative to be spread by these leftist, anti-Jewish journalists and politicians on the left. So while the right, we're trying to focus on unity, we have to get through this with unity. We have to be one people, that we're putting the political divisions aside. We're trying not to talk about politics, not to blame the leaders of the left and their failed political decisions and failed military decisions for 30 years, because it's all their fault. All their fault. And I'll get to talking about Netanyahu another time. But it's not his fault. He's the leader right now, and he's made decisions because of situations, but he's not the one who made the horrific decisions that led to this day. He had to do damage control. And that's another video. But the right in Israel, we're not focused on blaming the political left and their deep state for what they did. No, the focus is on the war. So we're not talking politics. I talk about it a little bit because I see it's being talked about by the left, and they're growing their insane lies to try to blame the right for the massacre and try to deflect from where the true blame lies. So you should know that's what's going on. This is a deflection campaign that's being done, unfortunately, by very, very sad individuals who have a big megaphone in the political side and in the media. Don't buy it. Stick with me for the truth. Am Yisrael Chai. The people on the ground, we want unity. It's the ones on top. It's the journalists. It's the politicians. It's the people with the big megaphones and all the power and the big foundations funding all of this hatred and division. Even in the war, they're funding this division. Don't buy it. They're a tiny minority of a deep state in the country. The Jewish people are strong. The Jewish people are united. We're going to succeed. We're going to win this war. We're going to overcome our external enemies. We're going to overcome our internal challenges of an enemy within. But they're a tiny, tiny deep state. We're going to overcome it all. Am Yisrael Chai. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you are not yet a subscriber to my Pulse of Israel videos, go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. And if you like this video and you want more people to hear these messages that I'm spreading with the Pulse of Israel videos, just click on the donate button on pulseofisrael.com every once in a while. Signing off from the beautiful ancestral Judean hills. We are home, baby. We are home. And just like the world and the Muslim world wants us out of the Gaza Strip, they want us out of Judea and Samaria. It's not going to happen. They're not going to get rid of us in Judea and Samaria, and we're going back to stay forever in our ancestral homeland of the Gaza Strip. Remember, the song Yaribon, sung every Friday night by Jews all over the world, was written by a rabbi who lived in Gaza 500 years ago. The Jewish connection to Gaza goes way back. Talmud, rabbis lived in Gaza. No truth, no history. Don't buy the lies. Shalom, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.